How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Shawn and Matt Show. My name is Matt, that is Shawn, and welcome to our show. Shawn, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about a brand new real estate app that is the TikTok of real estate apps. So think if TikTok and Zillow had a baby, went on a couple dates, got engaged, got married, and spit out a brand new real estate app. That is what the first topic is going to be. It's pretty addicting. I went through it, and I think I may have actually scrolled through all of the posts so far. It just came out, so there's not like a million posts like TikTok. So we're going to get into that, and if that's a fad or if that's actually going to catch on. The next topic that we're going to cover is Opendoor. Running into a little bit of an issue in Charlotte, North Carolina. Opendoor is an iBuyer program, and they have had some disciplinary complaints against them and how that's going to affect them in the future. And then, Shawn, happy Masters Week. Happy Masters opening day to you, good sir. There is a house in Augusta, Georgia, right next to Augusta National that just will not sell no matter what price tag. And what price tag will Shawn Battle sell at? That's what I want to know. So let us begin with the first topic. This comes to us from inman.com. Meet Playhouse, the app that wants to turn Zillow into a scrolling game, Shawn. And as I covered in the introduction, Playhouse is a brand new app that has a couple cool features. Essentially, it's TikTok with a real estate spin on it. And imagine TikTok, but all real estate. And then you can click on details and you can learn more about the property. And there's also a really cool feature called guessing game where, the agent or someone sets, a price and you can guess whether it's higher or lower than that price. Because in a lot of TikToks and Instagram Reels, they either won't have the price or they'll say like, DM me for the price, which is ridiculous because I want to know what the price is. So having this feature is pretty cool and we played around with it. What are your initial thoughts on Playhouse?
Yeah, so this has nothing to do with Zillow, right? I mean, like, I was thinking at first when I heard it says turn Zillow scrolling into a game. So what they're saying is they're not using Zillow to scroll or anything. This is a separate app from Zillow.
Not related to Zillow.
Not related at all. They're saying, hey, you love to scroll Zillow like we all do, like we sat in bed and just dreamed about different houses. Why not scroll a game where it's showing you videos with some fun music in the background and you have to guess what the price is. Is it higher or lower than $1.6 million? Pretty fun. Will it catch on? I think, it could. If you have that, if you love dreaming about properties, I think it could catch on. Now, here's the thing. We, as real estate agents, create videos for all of our listings, every listing. And sometimes we do them fun and creative, and sometimes we do them just informationally. So the one downside to this app is that, or maybe the upside to agents being a little bit more, putting more forethought into their videos is you have to make them kind of fun, right? You have to put some good music behind it. It has to be professional. It can't be like with your phone, right? This is all professional video. And the good thing is I think we've got a lot of content that we could just put up there and like see what happens, right? I wonder, does it matter if it's for sale or already sold, or maybe it could be like, hey, this sold for what did it sell for kind of thing?
It looks like it wants to mirror the MLS. Okay. So like active properties, and then you click on the property details to learn more about. Just think about it like Zillow or like Redfin or like Insert Your Real Estate Portal. And it's just essentially a video portal. And I think that could be really cool. And, as a counterpoint to the quality of it, that may be a negative because when you go on it now, there's drone clips, there's professional, crispy 4K footage. And a lot of the content on TikTok that does really, really well is actually authentic content shot, on iPhone 12s. Walking through the property. I know one agent that in the DC metro area that has millions of followers on TikTok, and they just use a regular iPhone. So I hear what you're saying about professional. I do think it has to be a stop scroll worthy content. Like you can't just be, shenanigans, but it could be shot on an iPhone so long as it's engaging.
Yeah, I think it'll evolve, right? It's going to evolve. This is the first initial kind of thing of it. You have to upload your video to the platform, put all the content in there, and but it'll probably start evolving where they're like, well, it doesn't have to be this, or they'll probably start making it where you can upload the video and then put your own music to it or blah, 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 right on that platform. I wonder if it'll become something like that where it becomes its own editing sphere. But it's a cool idea. I think, anywhere we can go with real estate and get more people into it and seeing our properties and getting it out there to the masses, right? Because we've seen how Zillow just blew up and took over. One thing I was thinking about is regulation, right? I mean, Zillow is regulated by the MLS because the MLS we're pushing all the information from our listings straight from our system to Zillow and to all the platforms. This is separate where it's just an upload straight to the game. So I wonder how or if there is going to be some sort of protection or something like that with the game. I don't know.
Yeah, and just so you know, the whole app isn't a game. Like you can opt to play that game, the price guessing game, or you can just swipe up and see listings, property
so it's
videos.
Just videos that you're scrolling through.
To that point about regulation and whatnot, on TikTok, people are going to brokers' opens, people are going to other agents' listings, and they're saying, hey, check out this $9 million condo, or check out this $25 million New York penthouse, and then it's not their listing, and that's cool to advertise because you're literally a cooperating agent, and your job is to find a buyer for other listing agents. That's literally your job. So that's all fine. However, in this app, it is the listing agent's property. You advertise a property, and then if you click details, it says message agent, which I think you would love. It doesn't say message neighborhood, top 3 neighborhood experts.
Right.
It's if you're the listing agent, you make the video, you make it cool, and then if someone's interested, you get the lead.
Now that's exactly what I like. I think that's where Zillow should have gone. They make all their money off of payment ads from other agents on other people's listings, where this is hey, I created the video, this is my listing, and I'm going to upload it, and if you need contact, if you want to see it, you're going to contact the listing agent directly. But you think about YouTube and all these other, like you were saying, there's no regulation on that. You have to, as a real estate agent, you have to put certain things in the descriptions.
Of course.
Which you probably have to do that. So thinking back, you probably don't have to be any sort of regulation. But, it comes to the thought of coming soon, right? Can we get away with doing a coming soon status on that or something like that, right? Probably not, because then we're regulated at that point, but who knows?
So right now the app is in beta mode. I think a lot of the properties right now are in the San Francisco Bay Area. That's where they started, and that's kind of like a hotbed of, I would say, good real estate agents. If you look across the board at real estate agent marketing, I'd put San Francisco up there as okay, these agents, they're using video, they have high quality production. It's not, cell phone photos or Google Street View. So it's certainly a good place to start. But my concern is, are agents actually going to use listing videos? You go to insert, middle of the road city. Are they going to be using listing videos? And is there going to be, the demand to open up that third app? And what I mean by the third app is all right, you've gone through Zillow. All right, you're scrolling on TikTok. Now, are you going to open up this third app where agents may or may not have decent listing videos?
Yeah, they're relying solely on content for us to make the content to upload it, right? So, and there's going to be a ton of videos that just won't hit the cut because, it's a lot of, and the reason Matt and I kind of do different videos for things is because a lot of listing videos are really boring, right? Oh, it's look how beautiful this thing is. You can do it with pictures. They're just
it depends on the property too.
It definitely depends on the property.
You sell a one-bedroom, 700 square foot condo.
No one cares. You got to do something
selling
fun.
A box.
Yeah.
But if you are selling a 5-bedroom, 5,000 square foot house in Dunloring, all right, you can have a little more fun there. If you're selling a house on a lake, you can have a little more fun there.
All depends. Yeah.
I would also say it depends on the type of property.
Yeah.
I love the idea. I don't know if it'll get the critical mass, but what may end up happening, they may get bought out by Zillow, because how are they eventually going to make money? Well, it could be those neighborhood experts that pay to have their name there. But Two, and the more likely scenario, I'm just spitballing here, is Zillow adds some sort of feature like this. It is incredibly difficult to get a video onto Zillow. Like you have to upload it in the Premiere app, and after going through like 5 steps, I basically just given up. Like I have my YouTube video file. You know, you can't embed the YouTube link into Zillow. It's terrible. But if Zillow added some sort of user-friendly video feature where, okay, we get it. You can zoom in and out of the map. You can look at the list view. But what about a third feature where it's like, okay, here are some dope property videos. You know what? I may pay, hate to say it, I may pay Zillow a little bit of money to shoot my video a little bit up in the rankings. So if this app was integrated or bought out by Zillow, it's based, think like Instagram and Snapchat. Like Snapchat had Snapchat stories, and Instagram was like, oh, that's a good idea. We're going to do that.
Yep.
Thanks, Snapchat.
Yep. Yeah, this could go anywhere. I like the idea of like paying to get your video up. And that's the thing is people want more, right? With real estate, they always want more. They want more and more and more and more. They want to see 3D tours. 3D tours, we do them every time. We do videos every time. A lot, most agents don't. Most agents just take pictures and they throw it up on the MLS and hope it sells. You know, Matt and I market. We do a lot of different things for these houses. And so I think that's going to push, again, it's going to push real estate agents to a new level. And I think it needs to happen because real estate agents, you know, we've become, or not us, but like a lot of people have just become complacent. I'm going to go and take pictures and I'm going to put it up on the MLS and I'm the local expert. Well, what are you doing to satisfy your clients? What are you doing marketing wise to make things different? How are you going to change the real estate market and the real estate game, right? And that's through video right now. And if no one's doing it, and if we're the only ones doing it, cool, I'll keep doing it and we'll do this app all day. And, you know, we're going to be the first players on it, I think, right?
We're talking about agents doing listing videos. Dude, I can't even get a floor plan. Like I'm walking through some of these houses. My clients are like, hey, can you send a floor plan? And I'm like, I can measure it right now because there's nothing out there. It's like I got to create my own floor plan because, I mean, where is the bar? Like at least have floor plans. And then we'll get to talk about, you know, 4K videos.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, most agents don't do 3D tours. I'm like, 3D tours are so simple. It's not that much more expensive. And then once you have the 3D tour, all you do is say, all right, I'll pay a little bit more to get the floor plan. It's already done for you. It's so simple, but there's just so many lazy agents. They are just stuck in their way. And it's good that somebody's thinking outside of the box and creating a fun game like this. And I think that video is what people want to see. They want to see creative, fun video. They want to see really awesome, you know, what you can buy in San Francisco, you know, waterfront, whatever it is, and what is the price? They're going to be guessing. And you know what? Pretty soon, those people that are playing the game are going to become experts at the pricing, right? That's a good way to like, hey, I'm playing a game, but I'm actually learning here. I'm learning what the values are in a particular neighborhood.
Whenever I do an Instagram story with guess the price, and then I have like 4 different answers, that's got to be my most engaged stories because people are curious. And a lot of people are kind of experts in the market, whether they're currently looking or just, you know, on their phone in their free time. So go ahead and download the Playhouse app. I hate to admit this, but when I was reading the article, it was like, it's in beta mode, available only for the iPhone.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, well, just so happens I have an iPhone now. Before I'd be like, well, I'll just wait 6 months and you guys can let me know how that is when it gets to Android.
That's right.
Okay, so let's move on to our next topic. Speaking of, you know, agents that maybe aren't doing the most, a company that is maybe trying to change that or get agents to do a little bit more is Opendoor, an iBuyer company that you know, buys houses directly without an agent. And this article comes to us from WSOC TV in Charlotte, North Carolina. Opendoor faces disciplinary action after complaints. Shawn, Opendoor, one of the largest brokers in Charlotte with, can you believe it, more than 1,600 listings.
Wow.
And they're essentially on probation right now because of, I would call it some pretty significant things that they've admitted to. This isn't, you know, an allegation where, you know, Opendoor is saying, no, we didn't do that. Opendoor agreed to sign a consent that says the following: they failed to address all material issues on a previous buyer's home inspection report. Shawn, this is like day one of real estate class. If a buyer sends you a home inspection report and then they end up backing out, you have to give that report and show that report to any and all buyers. What are they doing?
Well, didn't you just run into this issue with an iBuyer? I swear we had this conversation not too long ago where Matt had one of these horrible experiences. He was representing a buyer that was buying an iBuyer's property that they had just bought. And so the home inspection was just a nightmare. And I'm like, well, wait a second. Didn't they just buy this property? They just bought it and they don't know what's wrong with it. How do they not know what's wrong with it? Are they not disclosing this? They have to disclose it if they know of anything wrong. And they're probably playing the game, well, we just bought it. We don't know. You did the home inspection. You did something. And so and you have to disclose this. And that was the big issue, right?
That was an Opendoor, but it's funny. The only time I could get that agent on the phone is when I called his supervising broker.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then he called me back and was like, you're in violation. I'm like, well, I'm glad that we were now on the phone because been trying to call you. But yeah, failing to address material issues. And people wonder why the general public doesn't like real estate agents. They don't think they're trustworthy.
And the thing is, they're lazy. Well, not all of them, but there's a lot of laziness in this, right?
But
and
is this laziness or is this negligence?
It's probably negligence, too.
It's one thing to like not do a video. It's another thing to hide material defects.
Yeah, if you're hiding material defects, that's negligence. That's straight out fraud, right? I mean, but if you are, like one of the things in there was saying, thankfully, we don't deal with septic fields. Right?
All right, let me run through the next two. So there were essentially three issues that they got dinged on. First one was the home inspection not disclosing that. The second one, advertising the property having a pool along with hardwood and tile floors when the property did not have a pool. Then the third one is a septic permit that allowed for a 3-bedroom home when the property was advertised to have 5 bedrooms.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. So they're advertising all right.
Well, so let's start with the pool one.
Okay, so the pool
that might be like that we categorize that under lazy because that just looks like a copy paste job from like a transaction coordinator gone wrong. Because
exactly,
if you're advertising for a pool and the house doesn't have a pool, you're not trying to get away with anything. I think you're just being lazy, not doing copywriting, and maybe you just got your addresses wrong in your system.
Yeah, and the thing is, we have assistants and different things that help us prepare listings. And one of those things is actually writing text because it's so monotonous or it's time consuming to come up with a nice paragraph about the home. So we kind of try to outsource that, or that's what we're thinking. But if you outsource it, you better read it before you post it, right? Because sometimes these people that we hire aren't from this area, and we're sending them a couple listings, and they might get it wrong. So if you're not doing your due diligence to read the thing before you actually put it on, then you're going to get in trouble. And this is another thing. We have transaction coordinators and a listing transaction coordinator that prepares a listing for us, right? So they put the general information on there, and then we can just hit a button and say go. But what's the one thing that I'm going to do every time before I press go? I'm going to make sure everything is exactly right? I'll probably go over it 2 times to make sure everything is right. So it's the responsibility of the agent. And if that agent isn't doing that and they're just saying, oh yeah, just post it, blah, 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 just go ahead, you're going to find yourself in trouble like they did.
Absolute egregious error. I mean, It's one thing to be lazy, but you just can't go around marketing properties that have these features when they don't actually have them. And then the septic permit is huge because if you have issues with septic, I mean, that could easily be like a $50,000 problem if there's something wrong with the field or if there's, pipes that are rusting or things of that nature. And, if you're not disclosing that is a huge concern. So I think the moral of this story is trust but verify. So if you're going to tell, well, I mean, obviously with the pool, a little bit different, but all right, if you're going to tell me that, a house is on septic, perfect. All right, just send me the last time the septic was inspected, what year was the septic, and how many bedrooms is the septic good for, and clearly they messed that one up. And then, obviously with the home inspection, I think it's good practice to know why a property came back on the market. So if you see this whole thing of listed, delisted, temporarily off, pending, active, under contract, back on the market, there's a story there, and agents need to tell you, and they just may say cold feet as kind of a catch-all, but if any sort of home inspection was done and that was delivered to the listing agent, that needs to be, at least in Virginia, And apparently in North Carolina, that needs to be disclosed to any buyer.
Yeah, I've also heard the argument that a home inspector, that's an opinion of the home inspection, because, let's face it, there are some home inspectors that come through the properties and they're the axemen, right? They're like, I'm finding everything wrong and I'm going to, make sure I get my money's worth. And they destroy deals. Are they inflating some of the problems? Maybe. Are they scaring buyers? Maybe. But, I've heard the argument that a home inspection is an opinion of that home inspector. And you could have 3 different home inspections and 3 different reports, so I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. But the whole septic field, now I'm not a septic expert. We're in a city. We don't deal with a lot with septic. But having a true 5-bedroom house, if that house was true 5-bedroom, but they only had septic for 3, right? I mean, the septic could only handle 3. So what's the disclosure there? What should it have been? Hey, this is a 5-bedroom home, but the septic is only, for 3. Is that
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because, in my eyes, if I think it's a 5-bedroom house, I'm going to say it's a 5-bedroom house. I don't know about septic. Septic is, it's only it's only accommodating a 3-bedroom house. Then you better disclose that. Mm-hmm. Hey, this is a 5-bedroom house, but septic's only good for 3. Maybe that should have been something that they put in there.
So I guess my final question is, and this is kind of a little role reversal, is this, in Charlotte, a study shows that 1 out of every 20 homes are bought by iBuyers. Could be Opendoor, could be, Knock if they're in the area, Zillow offers, yada, yada, yada. 1 out of every 20 homes sold through iBuying. Opendoor, one of the largest iBuyers in the entire United States, market cap of over $4 billion. This is a huge company. And the sentiment towards iBuyers is not great, especially when you hear about corporate institutions buying up houses and first-time home buyers not being able to purchase houses. So, Shawn, my question to you is this just a hit piece article on Opendoor? Because agents, violate ethical rules all the time and get sanctioned all the time and get fined and, get on probation. And should this even be an article? Is this just a hit piece?
You bring up a good point. There's agencies all the time that are going through this. Is it disclosed out? I mean, is it big articles written about them? Not necessarily. So yeah, you're right. It could be a hit piece on them. Maybe it was, hey, let's take down the iBuyer, or let's take down this specific iBuyer. You bring up another good point. Charlotte, 1 out of 20. So that's what, 5% of homes are sold to an iBuyer. That's a lot. That's a pretty significant amount. And the reason is because the price point, right? The price point is good. They want to keep single family homes in that, 300,000 to 500,000 or less, right? Even less. I don't even know what Charlotte prices are, but usually they're a little less. They're not as prevalent in this area because of the high prices. So there are going to be pockets that, iBuyers are they're doing a lot more many more transactions.
Yeah, I may have actually guessed anywhere from like 3 to 8%. I know it's easy once we just said it, but like if I were to ask you like how many homes in Charlotte are bought by iBuyers, I probably wouldn't have said 10, but I wouldn't have said like 1%. I might have said like 3%, yeah. But I would agree with 5%. All right, let's move on to our final topic. This comes to us from Business Insider. Ooh. Augusta family next to Masters Golf Course keeps turning down millions for their 1,900 square foot house, Shawn. Augusta National has allegedly spent $200 million buying up properties around the course for the past 2 decades. And if you take like a Google Street View, if you're watching on YouTube, I'll throw up a map of Google Street View map, satellite image, Augusta National, you'll see a bunch of parking lots of the northwest corner, empty land. It's just parking, and it's just for one weekend. Then you'll see this little rambler on the corner, and you zoom in, and it's not much, but they are holding out. And I think even in Street View, like the owner is like out like mowing the lawn. So definitely like a love my property, like DIY type of owner. And they have been approached many times annually with 7-figure offers, and they are turning it down, Shawn. And this is a house that is worth about $250,000 according to Zillow. So clearly, $330,000. So essentially, they're being offered at least $700,000 more than, what the property is essentially worth. But, worth means a little bit different because everything's about location. And when you're located next to, one of the most famous golf courses in the entire world, this
is it really worth $330,000?
Someone from Zillow needs to go in and change this estimate to like $1 million. You know what they need to do? They should just change it to $3 million. Then the owner goes back to Augusta and be like, well, this estimate says $3 million, so you better up your offer.
That's right, man. It's scarcity, right? The only house left, and they ain't selling.
They don't want to go.
They don't want to go. Home is where the heart is, right? They raised their family there. Their children had children there, and so they've lived there for decades, and they don't want to leave. This is their home. Money isn't everything, as they say, right? And I believe they owned another house on the street that they sold, so they already cashed in. So they already got.
It's funny that they do say money isn't everything because the Thackers owned another property right across the street, but they sold it to the golf course for $1.2 million. But they also said money isn't everything. So after you get the $1.2 million check, money isn't everything. We'll hold on to this one. But good for that, because if I was Augusta, I'd be like, this is a package deal. Like, we're getting both of them. But good for the Thackers. If you want your house, keep your house and sell the other one, get 1.2, and now you're definitely not moving out after that check.
Yeah, I mean, you get 1.2 million on that. What did they owe? They probably bought it way back when for $20,000, $30,000, $50,000. They don't owe anything on that, so they have $1.2 million in their pocket from the other sale. They don't need any more money.
How do you get someone to sell that doesn't want to sell?
I mean,
like we've all seen, driving in, whether it's downtown DC or it's insert random city, where the whole block is developed, and then on the corner you see this like one little house or one little row home that just never gave in, then development has built up around them. It's like they may have missed their opportunity to, cash in.
It's like that building right on Ballston 880 is now
have you driven by it recently? It actually looks pretty cool.
Yeah, they're doing a spa or something.
Yeah,
there, right?
This is like an old, decrepit, like Chinese food place out of like a single family house that now looks like a modern spa that they're turning it into. So pretty cool.
Yeah. So how do you get these people to sell? That's a really good question. I think a lot of people would say like, hey, I'll sell it to you, but the house has to stay. And you have to say, it becomes a shrine of like, this was the Thacker's house, the last house to be sold to Augusta National, and you cannot tear it down.
Because it's not like they're going to, build a new house or like develop the land. They're going to do the opposite. They're going to take it to the ground and put gravel there for more parking.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to do.
So like the Thackers are like, this is my house. I don't want it to be a gravel lot. Like that's not what, this is my life. My life means something. This is where I've lived and I've raised my kids, and I don't want it to become a gravel lot. So as long as I'm here, thing ain't selling. Right?
People talk about how expensive parking is in New York City. I think in DC, it's what, $85,000, maybe $100,000 for a parking spot. What they don't talk about is Augusta. Augusta, it's $1 million for a parking spot. You got to pay $1 million for the parking spot.
That's crazy.
So
yeah, if it was you, if this was your house and all of a sudden your house was in Augusta National and it was the house that you grew up in, would you sell? I mean, me, I probably would.
It depends. It's right? So easy for us to say we would sell. Yeah. But like my folks' house, like if someone came to them, dude, I'm not selling.
Their house is worth a ton.
I don't have the power to make that decision.
Yeah.
But like if I did, I don't know I don't think there would be a price. I mean, there's a price for everyone, but it wouldn't be anywhere near the market value. That's for sure.
and because it doesn't matter. It's like they're fine living life the way they are, and they're not going to sell. And that's how my parents are. Like my parents still live in the same house that I grew up in. They've lived there over 50 years. They ain't moving. They're not moving. They will not even even if we bought a beach house, they still wouldn't, but they'd still go back to their house.
People in Pittsburgh don't move.
They don't move. That's right.
They stay in Pittsburgh.
They just stay there, and that's their whole legacy is just,
Steelers
this is my house.
And Bros.
Yeah, absolutely. So.
All right, guys. Well, love to know your thoughts if you made it this far on the old Augusta house. And by the way, go download the Playhouse app. I tried to figure out how to create a video, but it's still only in California. I've pretty much gone and liked every video and then tried to comment on every video, so I can kind of be an early adopter. But we'll see if that takes off.
Yeah.
So appreciate you guys watching. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And until next time, we'll see you then.
Take care.